Supports are greedy.
Yeah.
They have 3 heroes that kind of need a little bit of time to come online. It's going to be interesting to see if Navi can get the ball rolling before this Gambit draft really gets the momentum it needs. Next, baby.
It's basically just the momentum game for Navi. If they can find the momentum and keep it going, then they will crush Gambit esports. But Gambit, you know, they need to get a good start on the Shadow Fiend, which versus Eraser he should. This isn't a matchup he struggles with. And we'll see how they take it through on the mid game. It's going to be these mid game fights, which are so important for both teams.
There's a Nyx, dude. I'm so excited. It's like an okay Nyx game, though. I wouldn't say it's great. How do you just pick Nyx now? What's happening?
It's new patch, new rules. Anything goes.
Yeah, true. True. It's been a while since Navi's played, though, an official game, isn't it?
Yeah, that's been a long time. Pretty sure they have been invited to everything since Megathon, so...
I was going to say, they came second at the Winter Clash, didn't they? It was only to Liquid, who just stomped everybody.
Yeah.
So, interesting to see them play again. They've had a lot of time. Obviously, they weren't at the last minor or major. See if they've been storing strats ready to go.
I'm sure they have. I'm sure they've used their time wisely. Gambit, though, they've been having quite a lot of practice throughout these qualifiers and such recently. You know, open qualifiers for the major, and then open qualifiers for ESL 1 Mumbai as well.
Came second at the minor as well, didn't they? So it'll be it was Gambit, wasn't it? I'm pretty sure.
30 seconds to
I don't remember.
Ehome beat them in the final, I think.
Do a quick Google, find out. Nice cheeky little ward from the Tusk here. That's pretty sick, actually. Going to the medium camp there and just placing it through the trees.
So for some reason
serves correctly.
Well,
runes are going to go completely equally to a piece.
What Navi's cores are doing in the mid lane, though. They're all just waiting to... Like, this Tusk is trying to scout out who's in the bot lane. But Tide's been hiding in the trees really carefully. Because they really want to get this Beastmaster in a 1v1 against the Tide Hunter. And then they can just tri-lane against tri-lane. On the Navi side. Now, this Slark and Beastmaster aren't really sure what to do. They're kind of just stuck around in the mid lane waiting to see who turns up, and then they're going to run to their lanes.
Yeah. I mean, did they think that Gambit were trying to do something clever, like put the Tide mid or something, to avoid the Slark?
It was either going to be one side lane or the other, but they weren't sure which one it was going to be.
Right, yeah, okay. And they just went to go from there. Gotcha.
Just want to get the right lane matchups is all. No, they're putting the Slark against the Tide. That's the matchup that we talked about before. Okay, they're actually just running dual lanes. That's interesting. I thought they'd just keep the Beastmaster by himself. It happens.
They will get the matchup they want as Tied Up versus Crystallized. Gambit don't look to be making a big effort to swap this around just yet.
No, I think they're going to be quite happy with this. I mean, Tide got the first couple of creeps without too much harass from anybody.
Yep, early level 2, and Crystallized takes a ton of damage trying to harass up versus the Tide there, just not winning that trade at all.
It takes a little bit of time for Slark to start winning this matchup. You know, Tide is still this beefy early hero in the start of the laning stage. More interested to see how this mid lane matchup goes, if I'm honest. And Magic has 16 eyes already. He's about half a level ahead of the SF. He's having a great time in the mid lane so far. But I think when you play this matchup, you have to be playing, from ahead as the Razor, almost straight away. It's very important. He's just stealing 56 damage already. There's not really too much Afro Ninja can do in this here in this mid lane.
Yeah, I mean, he's always got that Shadow Rays to work with, though. He's got Deny.
I was gonna say, he has like 8 damage. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, very good.
Navi seem to be coming out ahead in the laning stage a little bit though already. Not by too much though. I mean, Deuce is getting farm, and I think it's for Gambit, as long as Deuce is getting farm, then they can't really be complaining about this laning stage too much. Like we said, FN can always just go back to the jungle and flash farm if he needs to. And Tide seems to be having a relatively good time as well, considering the lane matchup that he's against.
Yeah, he's doing pretty well. That first lane of XP really kind of helping him out here to lane up versus the Slug.
I was interested to see if people would. I mean, I knew people would still pick the hero, about how relatively, popular this Tusk pick would be still after the tag team. It costs 70 mana instead of 40, I think it is. So it's not quite as strong as before. You can't spam it out quite as much, but obviously still a very good hero.
Yeah, it's going to take more than that to knock Tusk off meta.
Dude, this Razor has 12 denies. He's really starting to pull ahead. He got coming on the courier here as well, is it? Yeah, he's got another Wraith Band coming out as well.
Only going to make him stronger.
Honestly, still doing better than I thought, though. Oh, top lane as well. They used the shards on the Nyx.
Yeah, Spike comes out, buys him a bit of space, but the tag team doing a lot of work, especially combining up with that Inner Beast. Not enough to get them the kill, though. The tower does force them back.
Gotta be careful up here. I mean, they're doing a really good job of controlling the creep equilibrium on Gambit at the moment, so the Lucian just gets to farm under a tower a lot. Not really afraid of too much of a dive from the Tusk and the Beastmaster. When they can't really fight you under your own tower. The DD spawned on the bot side of the river as well, so if either of the mid laners can get their hand on that, to give them some kind of laning advantage would always be nice. The bot lane as well, they're going on Tide.
I love that. Yep, that's going to be your first blood coming through.
They actually got rid of the pounce damage though, didn't they, in the most recent thing? So
they did. These guys. Oh my God! FNG, what the fuck?
What just happened?
They just sat there in the Illuminate. What are you doing, Navi?
I mean, they obviously didn't see it, but I did a lot more damage than I was expecting.
I mean, I was just kind of like sitting there, just like, okay, they're gonna move. They're gonna move. They're gonna... Nope, okay. Alright. Double kill for FNG. Fine. Jesus.
FNG's the carry now. No,
it's early in the day, they've just woken up. They still need to get their heads in the right place, so what? It's only a coddle.
Oh, God. Stark's gone for a second point in Essence Shift, which I think is definitely the right thing to do against this Tide. I think you probably go...
Mid lane, Apo could be in trouble. Does get the race off onto Magical, but with Ju coming in, Saneko joining the party as well. That is going to be Apo taking a fall in the mid lane from the early rotation from Navi.
Can you answer a question for me?
Yeah, always.
Why did Frost Shield not get nerfed harder?
Because Ice Frog, he needs to look after his other icy brethren.
Oh.
He's just looking out for his fellow kinsmen.
That makes a lot of sense.
You're welcome. Tide, is he going to be in trouble here? They're going to use this pounce, holding the Dark Pact in case the Anchor Smash comes out, but it doesn't. Tide not really in any difficulty here. He's just going to salve himself back up.
So they gave a sentry to the Shadow Fiend mid, and they knew because the Lich rotated from the bot lane that they were most likely going to have the ward next to that medium camp in the mid lane, and he did get a nice D ward. So Navi not going to have any vision in this mid lane at the moment. Going to be a little bit more difficult. Say that again.
The wards have souls?
Yes, I think so.
Interesting.
You just got a free soul.
Cool. Very big.
I think it depends what set you have on for the wards. Because some of them look more like people.
It definitely has a soul, but alright. That's good to know. Meanwhile, the top lane, we haven't looked so much up here, to be honest, but it's a pretty dull lane. Not very exciting. It's just Medusa versus a Beastmaster. Medusa, no, having an alright time, I guess. Beastmaster having a pretty good time, but it's Beastmaster. He's pretty strong in the lane right now. Going for that Vlad's as expected. Pretty normal stuff.
It's going okay though for Gambit, honestly. This Nyx is level 4.5, and it's only 7 minutes into the game. I'm interested... Oh, mid lane as well, they're going on SF. TP from the Nyx.
Trees, Magical getting so much damage here, but Immersion gonna get the return kill into the enemy mid laner.
This Nyx is just reaping the XP. He's like, yes, my SF died first, so I get all the XP from this Razor kill. Next,
Get towards that level 6. Yeah. Get that Vendetta online all the sooner.
His max in Spike Carapace. This is the point I was just about to make with his levels. I feel like Nyx is one of these heroes that really needs levels to be able to utilise his full potential, which you don't usually get. And if your mid lane keeps dying before you in fights, then reap that XP.
Always helps.
Radiant's top
Always
tower
helps.
is under
How
attack.
many stacks have we got going for this Medusa? Oh, we've actually had a couple, but they've all been taken. Hawk is
He's
blocking
getting
as well.
dive top lane as well.
I mean, is this a dive, or is this just Blizzy kind of saying, hey, what up?
I think if he had mana for Roar, he would still go, but the Mystic Snake just came out.
That's put him in an awkward situation. Now Immersion comes in. Another Mystic Snake doing a ton of damage. Afro dies in the mid lane, and Blizzy will die here at top. Yeah, it looks like it was another rotation in on this Shadow Fiend. Afro, we talked about him needing to be the kind of tempo controller, the man with the plan in this game, and Navi doing a pretty good job on shutting him down so far with those 2 kills, or maybe even 3 they've had so far on him. Yeah, 3 deaths to him, 0 and 3. Crystallize just picked himself up on Midas, by the way. Midas Slark. Brown Boots Midas Slark.
Yeah, that's okay. I mean, it just helps keep his farm up as well, especially if he wants to play aggressive. Like a Slark, if you can play in the enemy's jungle, be aggressive all the time with your Shadow Blade pickup afterwards.
True,
Having this Midas
behind.
Exactly, yeah. Having the Midas to keep up your farm. Finchie gets another D-Ward mid. And he's now level 6 at 9 minutes. Which is crazy for a keeper. The Tide TP'd away to top lane so he got some XP, and then he TP'd mid and blasted a wave away from the SF.
Your boy got a double kill, so, he's feeling it right now.
This is level 6 as well. I mean, they want a fight bot now.
Yeah, they do. They do put down the sentry, though. They will see Immersion here. Immersion seeming to realise here that maybe things have been botted out for him. It's a really weird-looking net worth graph where we've got... okay, Medusa's ruined it now. But we did have the entirety of Gambit all blocked together, and then it was like a Gambit sandwich.
Gambit sandwich.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
They've actually put the Tide up against the Beastmaster top lane now, and they've just said to the Medusa, okay, you just go in jungle for a little bit. We need you to farm a little bit more safely at the moment. She's not farming particularly quickly, it has to be said.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Trying to take this ancient stack, but these creeps are just healing.
The battle for the rune, they're going to try and throw down the Will-O-Wisp in order to secure it, or at least try and find something here. They at least find 2, or are they actually getting away to the high ground here? Immersion trying his best to chase, going to use that Vendetta, and that will find him the kill. But Snako did get both the bounties. Yeah, they're not one.
Can they get the +1? He's so fast!
Snako going for it, stun does connect, and Afo's there with the razors.
Afo really needed that gold as well. He's fallen behind quite a lot. Good for him, Like, yes, I finally survived a fight. Did it, guys. Wonder what Magical's going to go for on this Razor.
Fast items.
Fast. Gotta go fast. So he's got the Yule's queued up.
BKB.
Isn't that what Seb used to do on his offlane Razor all the time? I think he was the one that was a really big fan of this Yule's hype.
Yeah, it's really nice to have an interrupt, but when you're versus a Shadow Fiend as well. Even versus the Medusa also, if she throws down that ultimate, you can just throw up into the air. And your woes are gone.
Very true. I love this Quelling Blade purchases on Dusa as well. If you're not doing this, if you're playing Dusa in pubs and you're not buying Quelling Blade, by the way, should definitely get on it. It's a very good item because it works on all the split shots as well, even if it's only 7 damage.
Wow.
Thanks for that.
You're welcome.
This Beastmaster is going to be that annoying hero now that just sits in the bot lane. Or top lane, they're going on Tide. Don't think they can get him though.
Oh, Ravage thrown out. They want to go for this one. The Illuminate's going to rip through and find the kill to Crystallize. Gambit with a stylish little play there to kill off the enemy Slark.
If you saw what just happened mid, Immersion just was vendetted. He just walked up to him while he was in this, pressed Carapace. When Razor's passive went off, it stunned him, and then he just walked away. It's just a power play,
Yeah. Just showing everyone who's boss. Gambit supports are very much feeling very dominant in this game.
Okay, I think they might get him this time.
Yeah, it does look that way. They've got a pretty good lineup for eating tides, to be fair.
I'm a little bit surprised still about this Crystallizes Midas, though. They have
Radiant's
decent
bottom
early game,
tower
push
is under
potential with the
attack.
Razor, the Beastmaster. They can get this first Roche online, like we talked about before, then they'd be really strong. But it seems Crystallize, decided that he has a good late game matchup against the Medusa, so he's not really caring.
Yeah, that's true,
Razor.
but it's always interesting to see a team just, when they have kind of put themselves on this timer, to then buy themselves an item which is kind of
Dire's middle
waiting
tower
for
is under attack.
immersion, being cheeky here. The using following him with Spike Carapace and then stunning out Magical.
He might pay the price for that.
Coming in for this one, though he does reflect the punch there from Chu. So that's going to help him out a little bit, but Magical, ton of damage.
Stun.
Immersion, yeah, gets both of them with a stun somehow. Trying to get away again, has the Spike Carapace, does throw it out quite early. But again, he's actually going to escape this one. Alright, Immersion.
This is why you max out the Spike Carapace on Nyx, especially as a support. It reduces the cooldown so significantly. It goes from 25 seconds at level 1, and it reduces by 5 seconds every level, so it goes down to 10 seconds at level 4. And you can just spam them out in fights. It keeps you alive for so long, and especially with this Chakra Magic from the Keeper of the Light, reducing the cooldown. Nyx is going to be so annoying to deal with.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
After going for this mech, as usual. Greaves, actually. Full Greaves build.
Yeah, it's pretty standard for him now.
Yeah.
I don't think you need to do this every game. If you're rushing Greaves every game, don't do that. There are definitely games for it and games not for it.
Well, give me an example of a game where you don't want to go Greaves.
In a solo game, because you can't push as a team. Nobody understands what teamwork is in solo games, So, if you can afford to be a little bit more greedy, then, like if you're more of a position 1 Shadow Fiend than a position 2, then you don't really want to go for this Greaves build. But Deuce is the position 1 this game for Gambit.
Tower is under
So
attack.
this SF's more of like a utility
Dire's
hero this
top
game.
tower is under
Yep,
attack.
it does him well to kind of tank up and be able to make space for the Medusa just by being in people's faces, which
Radiant's
the Greaves allow him
bottom
to do.
tower is under attack.
Gambit are invading this top rune, expecting some Navi heroes to be here.
I'll take that.
No fights will be committed.
Dire's top
This is one of the best things about Keeper in the bottom lane, by the way. Oh, our tower's getting pushed in. Oh no, never mind. No, it's fine. But he knows that Navi are all hovering around here now. They have this ward up in the top lane. None of them are showing on the map, so... Yeah, you see Blizzy's looking for the Keeper at the moment in the trees. Just cutting through with a Quelling Blade.
Dire are scanning.
Oh. Nyx just run into the Razor.
This bottom lane tower is going to
Radiant's
fall to
bottom
Blizzy and
tower
Crystallize,
is
though.
under attack.
It is eventually, yeah, but I mean, all of Navi's heroes are committing to kill it.
Dire's middle
So I
tower
don't think
is under
Gambit
attack.
mind too much. They can't really
Radiant's
defend that
bottom
tower.
has fallen.
So difficult to defend your side lane tier 2s at the moment.
Ooh, Immersion. Getting the kill onto Snako as he comes to try and get that Frost Shield on the tower.
Dire's middle
See, that's
tower
what would have
has
happened if
fallen.
Gambit had tried to defend the bot tier 2. We're smart.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
They're actually just carrying on going down here, Navi, though. They use the Roar. Okay.
Wow, they go deep and find Immersion.
Is nobody
Dire's
gonna...
top tower is under
Okay.
attack.
Aphro does TP back, eventually, but their tier 3 is taking some significant damage.
New treasures.
After
Navi-
come to clean up these creeps, but yeah. Tower down to 1,200 HP nearly, just under 1,300, so that hurts.
Navi thought Gambit might have been doing Roche there, so they got back very quickly by the looks of it. They were away in this bot lane for a long time, Navi, so was potential for Gambit. This Nyx is actually rushing Spirit Vessel. Okay. I feel like they need a blink on one of their heroes. Okay, Tide's building the blink instead. Okay, that makes sense. They need some way of just forcing fights and initiating in the first place. It feels so bad trying to play a game of Dota and not being able to like make initiations and make plays. See that immersion though? He's all about those chat lines, dude. fine.
What are Nyx's chat lines? They're just all variations of Nyx.
No, they're not. There are some other ones as well. I can't remember what they are though. Would be amazing though. Like, do you mean like Wisp and Phoenix, where it's like laughing Nyx and sad Nyx?
Yeah, I think that should be the case.
It looks like there's going to be something brewing in the bot lane. Yeah, they drop the Will-O-Wisp, but goes down.
Ooh, FMG dropping really low. Does actually fall, but Chu might die as well.
These balls! Unchu!
He's going for it. He's trying to escape, but Immersion and Afterlife hot on his heels here. We're also going to make things difficult. And there comes a Gush to finish the job.
Just realised that he wasn't running towards his own base, so that wasn't really going to work, was it?
No. Running for a quick release.
I like this item choice by Dahak as well on the Deucer. He's built the Force stuff. It's a good choice up against the Slark, obviously. Lets you get away from the pounce. Kind of the only real thing that he's worried about at the moment. I guess if they use Roar on him, he can, the Tide can just go in and commit Ravage anyway, so. All about keeping this Deucer alive, keeping the Deucer farming. I don't know how many times I've seen a Razor that just does okay in lane and then just doesn't do anything afterwards. $1 every time. Be a very rich man.
Yeah, we all would. We all would. But again, Gambit happy to play the slow game right now. The less pressure Navi are putting on them, the happier they are.
Yeah, 100%. But it feels like Navi are happy with that too, to just keep the Slark farming.
It's an interesting strategy.
I think this Slark against the Deuce is okay, so I don't mind going to the late game. Which I'm surprised about considering the rest of their heroes in the draft. If this Keeper of the Light and Nyx these supports are going to scale so much better than the Tusk and the Lich.
You see what Crystalline's got queued up?
Yeah, he's going for that Diffusal.
He is.
I think when you pick the Slark against the Deuce, you have to go for this build though, especially when you gain Agi so quickly with the Essence Shift. You burn that mana from the Deucer very quickly. Nyx gets his 90 GPM talent. He's loving life. Got this high Nyx gameplay down here in the bot lane.
FNG, the Guardian, throws down a sentry and realizes the trouble he's in, and immediately Navi jump on him and tear him apart.
They tried to make a move on Blizzy in the bot lane as well with the Tide and the Nyx, but didn't have the damage. So slow pace this game. 17 kills in 20 minutes. This isn't CIS. I didn't sign up for this.
What region is this?
What's happening?
Some Chinese Dota right here.
I want these like 50 kills in 20 minutes bloodbaths. That's the CIS I know and love. Oh, and he actually took the Presence Aura effects buildings on Apo. Okay. The aura did get buffed in the most recent patch to 4, 5, 6, 7 instead of 3, 4, 5, 6. Especially with the physical damage from the Deucer being available. Having that split shot attacking everybody with 7 less armor sounds pretty good to me.
Yeah. Certainly does. And, it's all about creating this kind of differential between your team and theirs, because you've got the Guardian Greaves buffing up your own team, and then Presence of the Dark Lord affecting the other team, which makes the enemy really need to take you out. But, it's a Shadow Fiend. He's not a hero you like killing, because not only is he a pain in the ass to kill with these Greaves, but he's also gonna release a Requiem when he dies, so...
Yeah, absolutely. Both teams have that Vlad's as well, still. Everybody was like, oh, Vlad's got nerfed. Headdress isn't part of it anymore. Yeah, but it's still a good item. It's still very good.
Yeah, Vlad's was one of those weird ones where everyone was like, oh, Vlad's is crap. How many times they need to buff Vlad's until it's viable again? And then all of a sudden everybody's picking up on every hero, over the course of a week.
It's also because armor, became a much bigger thing though as well, so extra armor that the Vlad's gave was really nice. Much more than before, and they're actually going to the Roach Pit on Gambit. Let's do to hit level 15, they have Ravage available. Got the Will-O-Wisp available as well. No, they have the teamfight advantage. Especially in this area of the pit.
It's hard for Navi to fight with this, with his Ravage, so...
Okay.
I'm gonna go for this, maybe. Smoke popped. Magical waiting on that high ground.
They have the Hawk, so they see what's going on here, but...
Yeah, but FNG's waiting outside the pit. He's got the Will-O-Wisp, and actually Gambit coming around the back here, looking for the Slark. They actually have the stunner onto him. Meanwhile, on the backside of the fight, they're trying to go for FNG at the same time. BKB popped from Magical, going to be able to ignore the will. They want to kill FNG. FNG with the immediate buyback, though, wants to come back into this fight, does not want to give up Roshan this easily.
Magical's just committed his BKB to kill a position 5 keeper that's just brought back into the fight, so...
Yeah, that's now
Carapace.
Roche will go down. Ravage being used, they jump in. This is actually the one to take the Aegis and get the kill onto Roshan. And, well, the fight's going pretty chaotically right now as Crystallize jumps in, trying to find an entry onto the Hag. Meanwhile, Blizzy will fall, but come back to life. Raw being used out onto Afro. They will take him down, but Illuminate doing so much damage, hitting onto 4. Down goes Seneko. Magical not looking too pretty either. We'll get the kill onto each other there as Magical and Afterlife take each other down. Link up onto the high ground for Blizzy here. Blizzy just gets himself to safety. Doesn't want to play around too long here. So, interesting fight.
The fight looked amazing for Navi at the end, and then all of a sudden they got hit by a 4-man snake into a 4-man Illuminate. Then, like,
yeah, and they all
just died. Yeah. And that was the fight over at that point. That was... I mean, if Blizzy hadn't have got the Aegis there, that fight would have been an absolute disaster for Navi.
Yeah.
They committed the Ravage, but Blizzy blinked over it. So he blinked on top of the Tide after the Ravage had already been used in the short area around him. So it was really nice. I think Tusk blinked in as well and tried to grab it, so he had 2 chances instead of 1. You have this sentry in the mid lane on the Navi side. They see Immersion here. Crystallize and Immersion both invis, deciding who's going to make the first move.
It's a bit of a standoff here. Navi actually smoked. They've decided that it's time to fight now. Lark coming in on the back lines. Got himself an invis rune, but his Midas is also off cooldown, which, you know.
They want to fight while this Ravage is down.
Yeah,
but I think Gambit seemed to be aware of this.
Jumping straight away. Crystallize comes in. Actually, the Raw cancelled by the blinding light from FNG. Blizzy, the Raw ruined, and doesn't really know what they want to use it on now. This is going to be a full disengage from Gambit, and Navi get nothing for their aggressive rotation.
This is the thing, if Tide sits in the front line, they can't really kill him before he gets all his spells off. It's very difficult. This meat shield that just, you can crack and shell off the Raw. Just don't have that kind of burst damage from any hero that can bring this Tide down. There's not really many heroes that can deal with a Tide Hunter.
Arms for the dead.
Just about grabbing that bounty, gonna secure Navi 3 bounty runes at the 25-minute mark, so help them out get a bit more gold in their favor. And the real loser of this mid game does seem to be the Shadow Fiend here, as he's actually dropped behind even the Beastmaster in farm.
Yeah, definitely, but at the same time, Dusa just keeps farming. And how many times have in this patch and the last patch, are we going to see a Dusa that just farms, free farms, and just wins in the late game?
Yeah, also, she now picks up that Hurricane Pipe, but she had the 4-staff all along. It's such a good item to have versus a Slark.
It's very nice. Just having that Manta available as well. They don't really deal with illusions very well either.
Nope.
I don't normally like, Manta Dusa that much, but it's okay. Okay here.
You'll accept it.
If you just pop Manta, the Slark doesn't know which one's real at first. It just causes confusion, causes chaos. Helps you split push lanes as well. Help try and extend towards the late game.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Slark actually went back for a BKB before the defusal. Okay, so he has this 10-second BKB available now. Obviously needs it versus the Tide anyway, I think, up against the Keeper of the Light as well. There's so much magic damage on this Radiant side.
Yeah, this is the last fight, and that Snake and the Illuminate doing so much work.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, just slowly gaining their advantage though, especially with this Midas and Crystallize.
They are getting there.
I wonder what SF builds after this Manta that he's got queued up. Oh, do you know what I want to see? Imagine, right, he unloads a 3-combo Shadow Rays, and then he gets Chakra Magic from the Keeper of the Light, and then he just blows another 3 raises. Like, all on top of... How much damage would the last raise do? Can you do the maths for me?
Yeah, it'll do 486.
480... Oh, that's just wrong.
Okay.
Dire's bottom
I
tower
tried.
is under attack.
I think it would do
Radiant's
700
top
magic
tower is
damage.
under attack.
That's what I
Dire's
said.
bottom
This
tower
raise,
is
which is
under
nuts.
Although Nyx just gets this free stun on the Razor.
attack. Radiant's
It's so
top tower
obnoxious.
is under attack.
Crystallize
Blinding
running
light.
through, immediately gets blinding light away. Not even sure he was going for anything there, but all the same. Will-O-Wisp
Will-O-Wisp.
committed, actually interrupts the jump somehow on
Crystallize.
Crystallize. And they're going to get that kill. Down goes the Slug without managing to get his BKB off. Lich going to be picked up as well. Razor gets the TP out. Chu trying to run away. He's got the Spirit Vessel on him. Going to use that Snowball. Afterlife, let's get a little bit further forwards. A nice little blink from him there. Chu into the tree lines. Afterlife chasing. Shard's going to block off the way, but the raise, it does connect.
Radiant's
After we'll get that
tower
kill.
is under attack.
Can't pounce away from the light, Jared. That's just how it works.
Yeah, I did not know that was a thing.
You know when it's summertime.
Dire's
You've got
top
this,
tower
it's
is
in
under
the evening, it
attack.
gets a little bit dark, and you've got that little bug light thing, and the bugs just keep hitting the light over and over again. That's just what happens. But it happens with fish as well, apparently.
Okay. Yeah, that is true actually. People go fishing in some areas where they hold
Dire's top tower
a light
is
to the
fallen.
surface of the lake and then just hold a net out and all the fish jump into it.
Exactly. Get where I'm coming from now?
I do.
Really hope, if it gets to this point, that Afo gets a level 25 talent for the -5 aura. I think there's no reason why he wouldn't go for the cooldown reduction. I really want to see somebody do it. The aura does -12. I mean, it's pretty good. It's just the other one's ridiculously good.
What you're saying, cooldown reduction is absolutely insane, especially when you got these 2 activatable items so far.
It reduces the cooldown of the Greaves as well.
They're
Oh,
being used
Deucer.
down at bottom. They want to find themselves a Deucer, and they certainly will. The Hag taken care of. Goodbye, Snake Lady.
They pop the ward on the high ground just to get the initiation as well. That was really nice. Really well played by Navi. And be able to get this mid tier 2 here as well. Deucer does have buyback, but you really don't want to be burning it here. If you can get away with it.
Radiant's middle tower is under
Don't have
attack.
Ravage up for 30 seconds though, so Navi might look to make something happen here.
Will be thrown into Gambit here. Can they blow him up? Will-O-Wisp landing onto 3. Not bad. Inside the Snowball they go. They're rolling onto FNG. Crystallize jumping on him as well. They'll manage to take down this Cottle. Still no buyback on that Medusa. Afro trying to make it to the high ground here. The Shadow Fiend, can he get away? Punched up. Trying to get the ultimate off. Trying to do anything, but it's not going to happen. Navi, they take 3 heroes here in the middle lane.
I don't know whether Gambit thought Deucer was going to buy back there. But the hack says, no, it's fine guys, you're okay. Gambit decided to try and take a fight anyway, 4 versus 5. And
Radiant structures
I'm not really
are
sure what's just
fortified.
happened. Because this game's been so close for a long time. You know, all of a sudden, one mistake. Shadow Fiend and Keeper just don't have buyback. Navi pushed super quickly with this Beastmaster aura. This tower's just gone.
Yeah, it's blown up. Slug attacking so quickly with his 23 as Essence Shift. Very hard to fight into.
Yeah, being very careful. They know the Ravage is back up again now, though, so... Lose a tier 3. This is going to open up the shrines for Navi to take just before the next Roche spawns. Take away as many of those TP points as possible.
Radiant's top shrine has fallen.
This Slark, all of a sudden, though, is absolutely massive.
Radiant's
But he can be the
top tower
Diffusal
has
and an extra
fallen.
ultimate orb working towards that Skadi now. So it's going to be so much more difficult to run away from him when he has that Skadi up.
Radiant are scared.
If the Diffusal slow wasn't already enough.
Yep, and even with the 2, you know, cause Slug, even when they were equal a couple of minutes ago,
Mid.
15k each,
It's an Echo.
it's a slow death for the Lich, but a death all the same. Gambit gets something at least.
True. Where this Slark's playing though as well. He's playing so aggressively because he knows they can't really stop him.
Radiant structures are fortified.
Live the dream.
He finds this Arcane Rune. Here we go. He's going to love life here. I think Shadowblade has almost 100% uptime with this.
Scanning.
19.6, 14 seconds. Okay. I lied. Never mind. Sorry.
God damn it.
Even Blizzy has a BKB now on the Beastmaster. Well,
Wow.
we talked about how good of a BKB game it is. There's no reason not to, really. Especially when he's kind of finished up everything that he would need to anyway.
Yeah, that's true. Both teams scouting out Roche, still 45 seconds, still he's back up.
Yeah, both teams want to just hover around the pit now. It's really important just to shove lanes out from the Roche pit, so that when the Roche does spawn, kind of force the other team to go and deal with them.
Under attack.
Just lets you take the free Roche for yourself.
Radiant's bottom shrine has fallen.
Immersion hiding in the trees, maybe looking to pop some smokes or something like that. But Navi will show in the mid lane. I'd go for a Shiva's Guard, interestingly. Just something to slow down this Slark, I guess. Counteract the Beastmaster Aura.
Just auras. Which offlaner can build the most auras by the end of the game? You know, they have like a little bingo card that they can tick off all the auras on.
Smart.
They find the Razor.
BKB pops, Raw used onto the Medusa here. Apo gonna chain up that ulti and fire it off. Force off out onto the Hag. They're keeping her alive, but she's pretty low on mana right now. Stone Gate even being used here to try and keep him alive. But Gambit should be able to get out.
They catch the Nyx.
Okay, Immersion drawn back in. Does throw the down side. Carapace Ravage lands onto 3. Down go Chu and Snako just like that. Meanwhile, on the high ground, they've got Crystallize held still with the Will-O-Wisp. Does manage to make the pounce down to the low ground.
Vessel onto him.
He's in trouble. Galloway comes off, Dust as well. Immersion sliding in for the stun as well. Not even needed. Crystallize goes down and Gambit take 3 heroes. A terrible engagement for Navi.
Said they caught the Nyx, but he got Carapace off just before. So I think the Nyx caught them.
Yeah,
it's a trap.
Nice, an easy entry for the Tidehunter to jump in and just blow up the supports.
Oh, and if they can get this Aegis on the Dusa as well, this would be absolutely massive. The Butterfly now as well.
That's
only managed
to be a contest.
Only been able to kill her off once already this game, which is when she got caught off in the bot lane. So to go through her twice in one fight does not sound like fun. He did take the Mystic Snake cooldown. That's interesting.
Where's Blizzy at? He's nowhere nearby. No steal this time.
Blizzy can. What do they want to do with this Aegis though? That's the question. I guess the goal is to try and take these last 2 or 3 outer towers on the Dire side. I mean, this tier 1 in the bot lane is still standing at almost full HP.
Cool.
Because the Beastmaster's been shoving it in constantly, that lane.
Yeah. The hero is so obnoxious.
Boars are very good. Hasn't even got a Necro book this game, it could be worse.
Yeah, I know.
Other illusions are just giving the aura and the Vlad to the boar though at the moment in the bot lane as well. Doesn't even need to be there himself.
And they're doing a great job. Going to force someone back as well, so it's just so frustrating to play against Beastmaster because you always have to have someone back to defend. You always feel like you're at a one-man disadvantage because of the Beast. He doesn't even have to be there, as we're seeing right now.
Picks up the gem as well. I try and close out the map a little bit here, Navi.
Yep, they need to. I like this pickup. Brave, but it's needed.
Yeah, if you swing the fight from being a 50-50 to a 60-40 in your favour, then just by having the vision control, definitely want to go down that route. Builds a 4-star on Nyx as well, actually. Nyx is pretty farmed now. Did have the Axe queued up before, but I'm glad he's gone for the mobility instead. It's all about the positioning in these fights now, it feels like.
Smoke up from Gambit, they're looking for something here. They've got the Blink Dagger on the Nyx, and in they go, immediately finding the Roar comes out straight away. Immersion jumped upon and just assassinated in front of the side of Night. Oh, they got the heals off onto Dahaki. He does have that Aegis. I'll double force him away, triple force him away, slide away from the danger, Dahak.
Radiant's bottom tower.
Shadow Fiend's picked up a 4-star as well. I thought the Nyx's reactions were a little bit slower there, but it was night time, so Navi had full vision advantage with that ward on the high ground. Gambit did pop one down, but it was just after the Nyx had been initiated on, so this is the vision control that we're talking about. And get that pesky bug out the fight first, it would always be nice, but they can't really capitalise on it.
Oh, in they go, jumping forward onto Magical here. Quick snowball out from Chu to try and save the day. In comes a Will-O-Wisp though. Medusa doing so much damage to these two as they're stuck inside the Will. The Chain Frost, sorry, the Frost Shield going to do a bit to keep him alive, but not enough as Apo and Jay will scoop up a double kill here in the mid lane.
Navi are finding it so difficult to take any kind of team fight here. Like, it's 4 versus 5, but it doesn't matter. Razor used his BKB when the Nyx went onto the high ground before, so he doesn't have it for this fight. They can't fight into this Ravage Will-O-Wisp. It's so difficult for them.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Top lane, here we go. Raw comes out onto the next assassin, but Afterlife focusing up on this Lich. Sinister Gate's gonna buy
Gambit
Snicker a little
cause,
bit more
though.
time, but he's dead. Yeah, Slark is in. Can they find the damage onto Tide though? No. Gambit fighting back hard. BKB pop from Blizzy, trying to get his way through the trees here. Can't quite make it though. Trying to get to the river, getting low on HP. A couple more right clicks will be needed. Crystallize trying to block up. I'm not sure what he's doing here. Kind of just throws himself into the fight. Has to pop that BKB, and now trying to TP back to his base will just about be successful.
I mean, they try and go on this Immersion Nyx, but again, they can't even kill them without the Deuce from the SF being there. It's so difficult, and
I need to throw up.
Crystallize is just having such a hard time getting into these fights and getting off his damage. When his BKB wears off, he has to try and fight into this Will-O-Wisp Ravage, and it's just not working. Oh, they go onto the high ground here. Nyx just jumps into the base to try and find somebody.
Radiant structures
She's going to start chipping away at the tower here. Beastmaster does have buyback. Doesn't really want to commit it though. This Frost Shield slowing the push down a little bit, but doesn't really feel like it. Oh, Crystallize though, taking away the mid wave. They're going to try and fight through this backdoor protection here on Gambit. Can they take this Rax? Slowly getting there. Frost Shield comes out to keep the Rax alive. Sinister Gaze as well onto the Nyx. They really want to get this Rax without the creeps. And they do it. It's getting closer. Yeah, they finally do it. Lich with the Frost Shield, not even enough with backdoor protection to stop them from taking Rax. I'm sure that needs to be changed, but we won't talk about that. Hunting as well, straight away the Gambit. They smoke after taking this mid tier 3 and they're walking towards the bot lane where Slark is. Here we go. Okay, they're just going to back off, push the lane in. They still have this Aegis, so they want to take all these towers, like we mentioned before. Even if they did get the mid-racks before, no reason to not take the free gold down in the bot lane. Try and force fights as much as you can. And Deuce actually picked up the Daedalus. Okay, so that would indicate to me that she's going to go for the modifier talent at 25 instead of the extra mana. All about that raw damage now under hack this game, instead of just being tanky like last patch.
Bottom tower has fallen.
Matter if you don't have the extra survivability when you still farm ridiculously quickly and can hit like an absolute truck.
Arms for the dead.
Tanaka goes and TPs and takes a top rune, sorry.
Regeneration.
They are going to be able to trade the bounty runes 2 for 2 at least on Navi. Don't fall too far behind. Lich has an urn as well, that's interesting. I think I've ever seen that combination on hero before. The item hero combination. Yeah, Lich urn. I think I've ever seen it.
Yeah.
Position 4 that goes for it instead, so.
I mean, I guess they could be going for that Spirit Vessel, but I don't really know who for.
Oh, they find Crystallize up in the top lane. He has to BKB TP.
Ooh, he doesn't make it. Your Slark's dead. 90 seconds. He does have the buyback, but kind of not what you want to do right now.
They didn't even commit a Ravage or a Will-O-Wisp.
No, that was a free Slark kill.
They okay, well.
Dire's top shrine has
Navi
fallen.
are in trouble. I'm just going to put it out there.
Yeah, that's an understatement. They've tried to go late versus a Medusa Shadow Fiend, and this is the consequence. I don't know if it's a fault in playing it or just a fault in strategy, but it's really weird to me. Like, why do this? Why play the game this way?
In a vacuum, in a 1v1, this Slark is very good against the Deucer, but it feels like they haven't really thought about the teamfight advantage and these supports scaling much better than the Navi's
You've got a Razor in the mid lane. Who wants to take it late? I don't know. I was saving my questions to kind of watch because I'm on. I'm a caster. I'm a watcher. I'm not a doer.
Oh, good
War comes in though onto Medusa. All the same. BKB pop from Blizzy trying to come forward with the hack. Pretty damn tanky as the double force comes out once again, flying the hack away from the fight. He does commit the Stone Gaze. Crystallize running forwards, trying to chase here. This will
Good
turn
win,
around.
Wiz.
Navi need as they jump in. Crystallize trying to blow up Dahak here. Dahak, though, plenty of health to work with for now.
Ravage.
So comes in, and there's your Ravage coming down. Crystallize taken down. Buyback used. He is dead for 120. Now Snake getting taken down as well. Magical Force Staff to the low ground, trying to make his way back up to the high ground, but Blinding Light throws him back. Afterlife on top of him as well. The Tide Hunter just sitting on his face. Grazer trying to come in, trying to get the static link off, but doesn't happen. They disarm the Medusa for the time being. Shadow Fiend trying to get that ulti up, not quite working, but the Tide just sitting on the front lines. Shadow Fiend goes off in the back lines.
The Gushing one.
Bottom tower.
Chew caught outside the base of Blinding Light, and Medusa will find that kill onto the Tusk.
Crystallize has no buyback. This fight's going to be super hard if Navi want to try and take it. Ravaging Will-O-Wisp half down. The link gets cancelled straight away.
Tide trying to get a piece of the action as well.
Just going to hit the tier 4s as well.
Is under attack.
Magical.
Dire's top
Falling pretty low here. The crit comes through as well, but thankfully Frost Shield is a really good spell. But if you knew.
No idea.
Yeah, true. Gambit, though, they kind of smell this game as being over. They know this side has no buyback as they pile everything onto the Medusa here. She's getting low, down to 300 HP. Can they keep her alive? They're trying to slide her out of this fight. Disarmed up as well. Navi are chasing here without a slot. Can they do it? Yes, the hack will die. Lizzie, though, he's now on the receiving end as Gambit just chase him into the trees. His Spirit Vessel on him. Immersion will need one more hit. Yep, they will get that kill. Buyback's coming through thick and fast. Lizzie back into this one, but the Medusa buys back as well. Slot still 24 seconds. Gambit playing for the time here. If they go onto the Tusk, they will blow him up. Now they're look towards the Beastmaster as well. He's separated off his journey back to the base, but the Ancient is going to be the target. The Hack doing his best to try and bring down this Ancient, but it's the disarms. It's the Frost Shield on the disarms, just trying them so much time, but it's not enough. 5 seconds till Slark is back, and the game ends. Gambit take the victory over Navi in the first game in this best of 3 series.